I have the wrong arrow. This is a wide-angle camera. It will pick up everything. Everything! Ah! This presentation is called Havoc. All right. Some have called me a rabble-rouser. But I speak to you as my friend, for you are my friend. For I am one of you, and you are one of me, and I understand you, and you understand me, because I am your friend. Now, friend, the government has made me a poor man. I eat the bitter salt of the ash heap, while the government grows fat from drinking my sweat. The lot of man in life is to suffer. But is this correct behavior? No. I am a poor man. I have nothing but love for the peace. But will the government let me breathe in peace? No. They drink my air. I am a simple working man. I work my farm from the time when the sun he rises to the time when the sun she sets. In the summer, heat attaches to my body. In the winter, the cold is like unto 10,000 devils. My bitter salt tears water my crops. The government has made me a poor man. First, they take my daughter. For what reason, I do not know. But I do not complain. I am a simple man, a guileless peasant. Then they take my wife. For what reason, I do not know. I do not complain. I am a parasite on the government's belly. I am a blood-engorged tick. I am a loathsome spider. And then the government, with sugared tongue, with blandishments of the honey, they say they will make me a wealthy man. I will own a horse. I will drink hot tea from a glass. I will wear a silk hat and march in the big parade. No more will I taste dirt and eat leaves for supper. But then the government takes me, rude peasant, unskilled manual labor, and grinds me like flour in a mill and puts me in a sack for the rats to nibble on. First they take my daughter, fine. Then they take my wife, whole. But then they take my farm. This breaks the camel's back. I can take no more. I must fight now the government. And so I say, those who are with me, arise. Let us slap the government in the teeth. Let us kick the government in the shin. Let us break the government's toes with an axe. Too long has the government driven in fancy carriages and worn woolen clothing. Too long have they slept with curtains on their windows and feathers in their bed. And I sleep like a pig in the mud. Am I of no further use then that I should be shot like a donkey? Who am I? I am an illiterate, uneducated working man. But for too long has the government, under the guise of paternalistic corporatistic rule, the iron law of wages and the law of supply and demand, persecuted unsophisticated peasants like myself. Should we take it anymore? No! The government is overweight. The government has difficulty climbing the stairs. The government is short of breath. The government buys its clothing at the fat man's shop. The government must go on a diet. Let us show the government who boss is. I am a man for whom the world will not budge. Get out of my way, world, for I have had enough. No more take it will I. Are you with me? The government has taken our lifeblood to cement their filthy towers in which they entertain their blonde women. Ha! I am glad you could stay. And now, nobody leave this room, for you and you are all under arrest. Whoa. Hi. How are you? So glad you could come. So happy you could stay. Well, now it's August, but I'm already thinking about September and October. September and October are pretty slow months when it comes to big holidays. They sort of got the second string holidays, the ones that sit on the bench for most of the year holidays, the ones that nobody ever really goes out of their way to like get excited about type of holidays, like Labor Day. Labor Day. Well, I guess it's nice to have a weekend set aside for acting spontaneous. You know, I guess the other 51 days of the week are corporate year, or I don't know what, but it's nice to have like 3 days for labor and 363 days for big business and whatnot, and Columbus Day. Now here's a weird thing. It's celebrated on the 12th, but it actually happened on the 10th, or maybe it's the other way around. No, it happened on the 12th, but it's celebrated on the 10th to suit the convenience of whatever weekend it is. And I wonder what the Indians think. Do they celebrate October 11th? Last good day for the Indians? I don't know. I'm not sure. And Halloween. This is where it gets good. Halloween. The one day of the year when it's okay to dress up the way you really think of yourself as being. Like, perhaps I didn't put that quite. It's like every other day of the year you're like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this shit, I don't want to get up in the morning, I can't stand! But Halloween, it's like, alright, now I'm me, I gotta be me, you know, like adults have taken over Halloween from the kids. It used to be, you know, adorable lisping tots and Casper outfits coming up to your door with a gigantic booty sack, trick or treat, you know, that sort of stuff, and, you know, well, here you go, help yourself. You know, back in the old days, they'd take 1 or 2 pieces. Now it's like, hey, they dump the whole thing in the bag. They're out of there before you can turn around. So, oh, what have I done? Well, but Halloween, it's like, I was a really weird kid. I would dress up in combination costumes, like Hobo Superman, or, yeah, Zombie Gangster, Fighter Pilot who's into macrame. No, but better, you know, Fighter Pirate, you know, wearing the Air Force helmet and the eye patch, cybernetic parrot on my shoulder. You're going too fast! You're going too fast! You're bringing us somewhere! You know, whoa. So, anyway, what are the kids going to do to get Halloween back? Go on strike? Refuse to act childish? My best costume was, I came as the ontological proof of the existence of God, but nobody got it. In fact, I'm not sure I did it. Anyway, I am the wrong hero. I am a product of the very consumer culture which I have vowed to eradicate. When I sneeze, the world catches a cold. I am a conspiracy of one. And furthermore, I believe that there is no piece of turf so small that it can't be fought over. Like senatorial elections in Rhode Island, for example. Now, remember, if you can't say something nice, you can write my material for me. Can I ask you a question? Why are you wearing a sweatshirt on the hottest day of August?
Sweatshirt?
Yeah.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Oh, well, please, no more. Okay. Well, what is that? What's the logo on that shirt there? What's that say?
It says good.
Good. Well, but what if you looked in the mirror? Is it, you know, it'd be like, I don't know. That would be pretty bad. Good. Do you think you're good? I mean, is it a statement of fact, or is it a reassurance? Or no, I'm not heckling you now. Don't get the wrong
I think
idea.
it's just a shirt.
Oh, it's just a shirt. Okay. So when Donald Trump wears that BUM shirt, I shouldn't get alarmed about his financial security, huh? All right. I won't then. Well, what kind of shirt should I wear? I got the little red star. Semi-detachable. Just like another part of my body.
I think what you're wearing is fine.
Oh, you like it? Good. I'm so glad. Hey, look, now it's the shadow. I have the power to cloud my own mind. I'll get to the rest of the world later. Did you see that? The shadow?
No.
No. Well, you can go and see it for $1 at some stupid, sleazy neighborhood theater somewhere, because it's already gone straight into the toilet. It came out in May. It's already in the 5th run movie theaters now in August. So it'll be out on video next week, and you can freeze frame all the special effects. It's really, it'll be really cool and stuff, because it's really bad, but it's really good too. Hey, can I tell you about the Freeway Fiddler? It was a made-for-TV movie in the 70s, and it was this guy who used to terrorize women who used to cut him off in traffic, but he would pop a fiddle 8-track cassette in his 8-track, and it would play this evil fiddle music, and he'd run him off the road. So they called him the Freeway Fiddler. And one woman who was victimized in this fashion was in the hospital, and her boyfriend came to visit her. He was a Marine. He was dressed in his Marine outfit and stuff, so you knew he meant business. And she told him what happened, and he went, "That filthy degenerate!" Boy, I'll tell you, it really gave country and western music a bad name. But of course, the enterprising TV reporter learned how to drive like a race car driver and sent the Freeway Fiddler to his well-deserved doom by tricking him into going into an unconstructed part of the highway. I'm surprised no one else has ever seen this movie. Maybe I'm making it up. Who knows? So, what brings you here? Hey, are you one of the employees?
No, sir. I'm just one of those travelers.
Oh, okay. You know what sir means? When people call you sir, you know what that means?
Yeah, that means I'm probably from the southern regions of this country.
Up north, you know what that means? It means fatso.
Yeah.
Really, it does. It's like, get on that right away. Yes, sir. It's like, yes, fatso. I will. So just so you know.
I knew fatso. Slim and trim.
Slim. All right. Okay, Slim. All right. Yeah. Well, I haven't made you laugh yet. I'm sorry. But I saw a couple of smiles anyway. Well, that's because I'm the wrong hero. And with my left eye, I read Das Kapital. With my right eye, I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. And with my third eye, I read the Kama Sutra. So I don't have much time to actually come up with jokes, you know what I'm saying? You know what? You can get away with anything if you're an evangelist. It's true. I mean, look at Jimmy Swagger, all those people. So if you say, I'm telling dirty jokes for the Lord, that's solid. You could probably have a whole church of that. Or, let's see. In many ways, Jesus was the world's first and greatest comedian. You can say Jesus was the world's first and greatest anything and get away with it. He was the greatest salesman, the greatest athlete. He took 12 shabby men and formed them into an organization which rules 1/3 of the world today. So, but I have a question. If God is so great, how come the alphabet doesn't begin with the letter G? Hey, you think the big guy would have gone around to seeing that was the case when he decided to make the alphabet. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Are you Arabic or Lebanese?
I don't know, I forgot.
You're
I'm
from
French.
French? Oh, you're from Algeria?
No.
No? Well, you're from Tunisia?
No.
Where are you from?
I don't know.
You met your match now, sir.
Oh, yeah? I don't know. I don't know where I'm from. Okay. I'll accept that for $500, Alex. Where are you from? I don't know. That's correct. Where are you from? Just tell me.
Forgot.
Come on. Don't leave me on like this.
You gotta guess. You got that.
Oh, I have to guess. Great. There's 170 countries in the world. It would take me all afternoon, Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're out there.
Yeah. We serve you.
Why you sound like this?
What? Like what? Like, the sound system's really screwy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. This will make you laugh. I promise. Don't, no, don't.
You wanted this right?
Just turn it up a little. But don't do anything else.
What show?
7, 8, 9. Just turn it up a little. All right, I'll do an impression for you. I'm so eager to please. First I'll sing a song though. It's like, I know I'm not much on looks, but I'm down here on my knees. So love me, you schnooks, cause I'm eager to please. Okay, now this is the part of the show where I risk injury.
Hey Francis, you're better off just not using the mic.
All right. Whatever you say. You're so full of good advice. This is my impression of a speedometer. People talk about their cars the way the farmers used to talk about their livestock. You ever notice this? It's like, hey, I don't know, old Bess here, got her up to 85 miles an hour the other day. Yeah, look, man, she works best at 4,400 RPM, but I got her up to 6,600 RPM. She's got 182 horsepower, and, it's almost like, it's like well, the cow, I just gave her a shot the other day, her milk test came out positive, and, it was pretty good. I like that, It's like they never talk about how much their cars pollute. It's like a car failed the inspection the other day. Yeah, it was squaring out 3.9. It's a 1982. Had to have it repaired. $300. But farmers will talk about you. Well, my racehorse broke his leg the other day. We got this controversial new treatment. We put flippers on her and sell her to SeaWorld. Yeah. Hey, you like that, didn't you? Good. Well, I have a 1981 Volkswagen Diesel Rabbit. It's like, is this a joke car or what? Like you start it up at first and like this gigantic plume, like Bo Powell, comes out of the back. At least it keeps the drivers a good 500 yards behind you on the highway. They never know what a plume of hideous diesel exhaust is going to come wafting. And motorcyclists, forget it. On the way down here, it's like this guy on a motorcycle is taking the hairpin curves, but then boom, and he went, like he not only did he get out of my lane, he like got off the highway altogether, I saw him like way out in the corner of my eye. It's like, where's the nearest hospital type deal. Really, this actually happened. I'm not making any of this up. Well, maybe some of it, well, maybe most of it, or maybe 90% of it, but it's exaggerated. Anyway, every time I start the car, it's a German car, and it goes, Warum. And in German, Warum means why. So every time I start the car, it's like, why? So, why? Because I'm too lazy to walk anywhere. Why? Because I've been indoctrinated to believe that Americans should drive cars. Why? Because I watch television 18 hours a day. Why? Because I believe in everything the military-industrial complex tells me to. Why? Because if we didn't have highways, then army men wouldn't have places to drive their jeeps and trucks. Why? Because in a democracy, complacency takes the place of ideology. Why? Because we mistake information for intelligence, and our country is run by well-informed ignoramuses. Why? Because the 20th century is the story of the destruction of all the great ideas of Western civilization. Why? Because someday a future race will get its fuel from our bones, just like we get our fuel from dinosaurs, and they'll laugh at us for our ignorance and stupidity.
And our large size and our small brains.
And our large size and our small brains. Thank you very much. So, anyway, finally I just kicked the car and it starts. Actually, the whole time I forgot to pull out the, what do they call that thing that you pull out in those types of cars? Not the clutch, it's called the choke, yeah. The whole time I forgot to pull the choke out. Well, to be sure, sometimes it doesn't need to have the choke pulled out. You never know. Like, that's the thing about these damn cars. You buy a used car, it has all these little quirks that the owner knows about, but he forgets to tell you. Like, oh, by the way, the front right tire leaks air, so you gotta fill it up every 3 days. Oh, thanks for telling me, asshole! I almost got killed! And that rainstorm. But I can't complain too much. I had a car just like it before, so I know exactly what could go wrong. The water pump breaks and you have to have it fixed. $180, ching! it burns oil. Oh, got a hole in the oil pan. $50, ching. You know, so it's just like, you might as well just buy a new car for $200 a month if you can find one. You know, because you end up like spending like $1,400 a year just to keep the damn thing on the road if it's a used car. You just can't win, that's all. Anyway, all right, go feed from here and I'll take a break and be right back. I'm the wrong hero. This is Havoc.
So you have all this stuff? Or you use your... It's pretty expensive camera. How much you bought it? 7? 9?
Seven. I bought it years ago. I can get the same one for $5 now. Now that's the thing I never talk about on the Flintstones. The average caveman only lived for 30 years. There were no old cavemen. So, I don't know, it's just very unrealistic. Don't believe the Flintstones. There were no dinosaurs when cavemen roamed the earth. That's the other thing that they don't talk about.
No more dinosaurs.
The saber-toothed tiger as a pet, maybe. But no, not the dinosaurs, no. Just forget it, all right? It's just, it never happened, all right, kids? I'm sorry, it's sort of like saying there is no Santa Claus, but I have to be honest with you here. Anyway, you know what I say to hecklers?
What?
I'm up here and you're down there, for I am Media Lord. And another thing, you know what my biggest aspiration in life is?
No.
To leave cappuccino farts on David Letterman's sofa. I'm living for that moment, you know?
Right.
Like, and I spend time plotting. What is it going to be? Silent but deadly?
Maybe.
Or I don't know. I'm just looking forward to Dave Letterman going, phew, what an odor! You know, it's like, whoa, we're not having you back on the show.
It's from the old pumpkin. So, man.
Hey, did you hear about Woodstock? When you were a kid, did you hear about Woodstock?
Yeah.
You did. You know what I was doing during Woodstock?
What?
I was fighting a war! That's what I was doing! I was only 12 years old. I lied about my age. I was off there in Vietnam, eating McDonald's, drinking Pepsi, watching television, wasting water, generating tons of garbage, leading a regimented life, and I was disgusted by all those butt-naked hippies wallowing in mud. And you know what I say? I say, execute the flower children and cover the world with radioactive fallout.
What about the women?
Oh, well, we'll keep the women. I think we'll keep them. You know, I think I'm suffering from false memory syndrome, but I can't be sure. You ever have your boss say, I don't like your attitude?
Yeah, always.
Always. You know, I start thinking, what about my attitude don't you like, huh? Is there something wrong with my attitude? What about your attitude, huh? Maybe I don't like your attitude, your high and mighty high. I'm Mr. Boss. I can tell you what kind of attitude I like or do not like. Because my attitude is I don't like your attitude. Savvy? You know, so it's like this whole attitude thing. It just, whenever somebody says, I don't like your attitude, it's like, get out of my face with that. I don't need to hear that.
Just ask you about his attitude.
What am I, your slave? Oh, yes, master, yes, master. Anything you said, let me kiss your boots for you, sir. You know, it's like, oh, man, I don't need this.
Oh, you're dreaming, man.
I know, I'm raving. I'm ranting and raving. Well, you know, Central Square, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it is.
Flower pots in the streets.
Nobody waters them.
Nobody waters them. There's grime in the alleyways. There's birds singing near the churches. There's drunks singing between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. at the top of their lungs, and they don't even have good taste in music. You know, it's like, when Irish eyes are smiling, You know, it's like, oh, come on, can't you at least sing,
Yeah, no, I heard them once.
yeah, it's too much, you know.
You gotta use earplugs when you come out there.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that way. And, boy, well, I'm an Eskimo, but I'm on a diet, and I can't believe it's not blubber. My dad, he said, the problem with the world today is that parents have no authority to teach their children. And I said to him, shut up, stupid dad! Shut up!
You know nothing.
Busy, huh? Your parents. It seems the only role that your parents play after a certain age is to try to hide unpleasant truths from you. Like, Grandpa's in heaven and not, the crotchety old fool has breathed his last. We're rich! Or, sure, you can call your new goldfish swimming, not, even though in 3 days he'll be a dead carp floating on top of a bowl with a turd hanging out of his ass. So then you grow up and you go to college and, you know, $50,000 to learn how not to puke in public and how to say in 500 words what was never worth saying to begin with. That's college. Just in case you didn't figure it out for yourself already. I'm the wrong hero. And I say, if everybody were like me, I'd be mediocre. I also say, sports are good. Why should the state have a monopoly on legitimate violence? And I also say that I want to live in a country which is half rich and half poor, where peasants ride on rocket sleds, but the United States is close enough. I have done many things in my life. I took yoga when I got out of college. And the man who was teaching us to do yoga said that you shouldn't sleep with lots and lots of women because someday you might get married, and what will your wife think of you when she finds out that you've told all of your secrets to other women? You know, he had a point there. Well, one time I went to a concert. It was a Kinks concert in Providence, Rhode Island in 1980. And we were walking around with open beers before the show, and we decided to take a leak out in public, and it turned out we were pissing along the side of the police station. And so, of course, the police arrested us and took us in, and I was wearing a bizarre costume. Oh, really? Yes, I was wearing a bizarre costume, and they found my harmonica when they searched me for my effects, and they said to me, play us a song and maybe we'll let you go. So I played them a song on the harmonica, but I guess it wasn't good enough because they didn't let me go. Anyway, that's apropos of nothing. Dark wheat. Dark wheat. I want to get a t-shirt that says dark wheat.
You should.
Yeah, it'd be like a new superhero. I'm dark wheat. Just one of those days. Well, now that they have democracy in Mexico, maybe I should visit. But the only trouble is, I only know a few phrases in Spanish, like "Porquito puerco, empleados, laven los manos, por favor." So I can just see them stopping me at the borders. Porky Pig, employees, please wash your hands. Well, you are going to jail. Yeah. Well, I walk into Chinese restaurants. I studied Chinese for 6 months, so I like to show off a little bit and order from the menu in Chinese. But unfortunately, I didn't learn how to pronounce any of this stuff. So I like to say something like, I'd like some good guy, and with some voice and sauce. You know, and the restaurateur gets on the phone and goes, "Hello, police, we have a crazy man." You can do that in Italian restaurants too. It's like, "Buongiorno, I'd like some veal parmigiana." "Oh, waiter. It's just one of those things, you know, one of those cross-cultural things. Like, Superman. When Superman was a boy, did he have a kryptonite lock on his bike? I could see it, you know. Can't pedal, too weak. Ooh, I'm the wrong hero. I'm a sick man with no time to be busy. And I have no time for stupid stories that dare me to dream. Hey, it's Cecil. Cecil, you busy?
Francis, yeah, just I gotta take some things here for a second.
All right, we're going to have a slight pause, and we'll, I'm going to have a slight pause. I'll wait for you to come back. I want you to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
Mark one now.
I am the wrong hero. Someday, my greatness will be recognized, and a feature-length production will be produced in my honor. For I am the wrong hero. I have no son, but there is no doubt in my mind that if I did, the drooling crumb crusher would spend his every waking hour walking about and lisping the praises of me, the wrong hero. The wrong hero. How can I begin to list his many accomplishments? Doctor, lawyer, plastic surgeon, big game hunter, millionaire playboy, mountaineer, famous reporter, widely noted philatelist, connoisseur of fine wines, scientist, sports hero, race car driver, industrialist, friend to generals, advisor to presidents, confidant of kings, kind to animals, flosses daily, never tells a lie, gentleman, scholar, poet, fighter pilot, polo enthusiast, conquistador, privateer, picaro, lovable rogue, rapscallion, forest ranger, wrangler, lover of danger, slow to anger, user of wooden coat hangers when guests come to call, extraordinary host, generous tipper, impeccably dressed man about town, and those are my bad points. For I am the wrong hero, the ne plus ultra of heroes, a man who has accomplished in the last 30 minutes feats it will take the human race 30,000 years to emulate. For I am the wrong hero, father confessor to popes, mentor to geniuses, mother superior to buck privates and staff sergeants, and most of all, a 1,000,000% oak solid, dyed-in-the-wool American with United States flags flopping in both eyes. And don't you forget it, Buster, or you'll be picking up your Bolsheviks choppers off in the tarmac of the greatest country in the world, in the universe, America, home of the wrong hero, hero of the ages, who knows more than all of you. For the wrong hero is God. He is God! And now I must go. The world that made me what I am is safe for another week. For I am the wrong hero. I mean more than I allow myself to say. Because it is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Melville said that. But he hasn't been gigging lately, so I figured he wouldn't mind if I used his material. I'm the wrong hero. This is Havoc. Oh my God, it's a secret document. big one. What's that you drinking? Fancy bottled water? What's the matter? Isn't good old tap water good enough for you? Do you walk around with perfumey water under your arms, thinking you're better than everybody else, drinking tap water, smoking imported Gaulois cigarettes from France, and wearing tuxedos and little cummerbunds around your waist and top hats and snubbing the peasants and taking taxi cabs everywhere you go and buying prepackaged food and hey, whoa, hey, son, leave that man alone. He ain't doing you no harm. What's up with you anyway, huh? Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Hey, it's really packed tonight.
Yeah, you bet it is.
Sold out show.
Yes, indeed. All right. I have a perfect record for driving people away because I'm the wrong hero. And now, I truly must go because you are beginning to annoy me. Because you make me nervous! Nervous! Because you're evil! Evil! Evil!
My mother coming in? Nothing. I went to the station, and David said she's at the carnival. You going to the carnival? Yeah. Okay, see you guys later.
Your boy? Yeah.
Why, you paternalistic son of a bitch. Your boys, indeed. Your boys. Well, okay. Hi, I'm the wrong hero, and this is Havoc. I want you to know that I was not destined by nature to be a mere clown whose sole purpose in life is to tickle the sores of a fickle mob. But hey, a gig's a gig, you know. I take my jollies where I can. Well, speaking of which, I want the government to outlaw me so I can be sold for $20 a gram in front of housing projects. You know? Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I'd like to tell you a few things about myself. I'm a proletarian nobleman. I'm a crypto-realist. I'm an altruistic hedonist. I am a Dionysian Stoic, a materialist Taoist, a fighting Quaker, a fucking monk, a conservative anarchist, a radical centrist, a nihilistic animist, a misanthropic utilitarianist, a premeditated improvisational artist, and I'm positively negative, omnisciently ignorant, thoughtlessly philosophical, and I was the stupidest genius in my class at Harvard. And my motto is, I think I can, I think I can. Fail. Because I'm the wrong hero. I'm apathetically engaged, frivolously serious, and oxymoronically non-contradictory. Now, I want to tell you all something. I've been all over this country, from Fiddlefuck, Arkansas, to West Hale, Missouri, from Diddy-Wah, Diddy, South Carolina, to Poke in the Eye with a Sharp Stick, West Virginia, from Chumley, Ohio, to Dundee, Tennessee, from Chenango, New York, to Captaine, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to tell you something right here now. Everything west of Yonkers, New York, and everything east of Riverside, California is just one gigantic pile of hazardous waste, smoldering landfills, and frontier justice. where filthy, ornery, lice-infested hicks twiddle their non-opposable thumbs and watch the grain elevator go up and down all day long. And if you're lucky, you can get yourself a husband whose knuckles don't scrape the ground, who has a wooden floor instead of an oak floor, and who only beats you once a week, if you're lucky. Now, for a big night on the town, folks in the great American heartland like to go to that little Chinese restaurant out on the edge of town. You know the one I mean. It's way out there. It's usually called something like Chef Hoy's or, the Magic Lucky Palace Garden, and tinkling waterfalls, and expensive decor, paper-mache lanterns, and one patron who sits at the best table in the restaurant chewing one gumball for 3 hours during the busiest time in the restaurant, who doesn't order anything, but when the waiter comes around, "Oh, waiter, can I have a water, please?" Not, "Can I have a glass of water?" or "Could you bring me some water?" But he always says the same thing. "Can I have a water, please?" "Oh, aren't you going to order something?" And it's like, I'll tell you what, when I'm done with this gumball, don't worry about your tip, because I'm going to leave the gumball. I'm going to park it right here on the table for you, okay? So don't you worry about a thing. Well, I'll tell you something about the great American heartland. They don't have stores with aristocratic names like Star Market or Almax or Edwards. They don't even have stores with semi-aristocratic names like Stop and Shop or Gobble and Gump or Chew and Puke. No, but I'll tell you what they do have. They have Filthy Midget Mart. And it's advertised on the radio 18 hours a day, This is always the same guy. He's like, "France, I want you all to come down to Filthy Midget Mart, conveniently located right across the street from where the Purity Supreme used to be before we burned it down and put up a crack house there." Now, at Filthy Midget Mart, I want to tell you something. When you walk in the door, you're greeted by the smell of mildew and freezer burn. That smell translates into extra savings for you because we don't bother cleaning our store here at Filthy Midget Mart. Yeah, Filthy Midget Mart. You see them weeds growing out of the dirt floor? That's our floral section, because we don't waste your money and ours sprucing up the store and spending it on undesirable extras like disinfectant or sissy stuff like that, because we're Filthy Midget Mart. Now, don't come to our store expecting to buy milk or bread or eggs or anything like that, but I will tell you something. We've got the largest selection of snuff, chewing tobacco, and prosthetic jaws in the tri-state area, because we're Filthy Midget Mart. Right across the street from where the Purity Supreme used to be before the owner was mysteriously kidnapped, hog-tied, and eaten up by feral pigs down by the Speedway in a mysterious late-night mishap. Well, our deli clerks are so level-headed when they're slicing their ham. Well, you can tell they're level-headed because they got tobacco juice dribbling out of both sides of their mouth. And they'll slice that ham extra thin for you, just like we folks in the Midwest like it here at Filthy Midget Mart, where our poultry is so fresh it's still walking around, if you consider pigeons and crows to be poultry. Anyway, here at Filthy Midget Mart. Now, Tuesdays is bargain days in our meat department. You never know what you're going to find, and neither do we, because at Filthy Midget Mart, our motto is, we break for roadkill. Now, we don't have no truck with sissy stuff like powder puffs or petunias or perfuming water. But I'll tell you something, friends, if you want plutonium, styrofoam, dioxin, elemental mercury, nitroglycerin, live tarantulas, a caged gorilla, or a monkey's paw clutching a jewel, well, you come right down here to Filthy Midget Mart. Now, the missus is going to really like that monkey's paw clutching a jewel, I can guarantee you. Now, this Labor Day weekend, here at Filthy Midget Mart, we got a special surprise. It's our cookout and dwarf tossing contest. Yeah, that's right. Bring the whole family. It's, hey, how you doing there? Hey, how you doing there, John boy? Hey, what's up, anyway? So come to our cookout and dwarf tossing contest. That's right, throw a real shrimp onto the Barbie down at more. Now, when you go through our checkout line, we don't ask you whether you want paper or plastic. We just throw the shit at your head. That's why we got the fastest checkout lines in the business. Only at more. Conveniently located right down the road from where the Superior Supreme used to be, and right on the other side of the railroad tracks from there, except, well, you all know what happened to the odor and the mysterious fire and all that stuff. And, gee, it's really too bad that no one's going to be around to collect that fat insurance payment. I guess it's going to go right into the coffers of the town square. It just happens to be my brother-in-law. And anyway, yeah, well, we're mighty glad to talk to you today, and now we're going to return you to our programming of Christian fundamentalist preaching. Friends, I was talking to some young hippie punk atheist who didn't even like football, and he said to me, preacher, how do you know that Jesus exists if you haven't actually met him? Well, I got that young whippersnapper by his ear, and I pulled so hard, he looked like Vincent Van Gogh when I was through with him. And I said to him, friend, do you know what the most important book of the Bible is? Well, neither do I, because they're all equally important, especially the parts with Jesus in them. Now you say, how do you know Jesus exists, friends? I know Jesus exists because I invited Jesus into my heart. I invited into my home. And he said to me, preacher, how did you know it was really Jesus that you invited into your home? You know, he talked all syrupy and slow like he had a mouthful of maggots. And I said to him, who but Jesus would have a special God whistle that only he could hear? Who but Jesus would give away my coin collection? Would leave his face on all the towels. Would walk up the shower nozzle. But would invite his 12 disciples in for a drink and change the bathwater into Manischewitz wine. And who but Jesus would change my water cooler into a wine cooler? And who
Jesus would go to the White House and change the Whitewater scandal into the white wine scandal. Jesus is who? Well, that ends our religious programming for today. Now we're going to have sports talk with our friend and yours, Mr. Al Cowling. Now, wait a minute, friends. I'm not that Al Cowling, okay? I just happen to have the same name as this famous individual, and I realize being in broadcasting that my voice can get pretty grating after 12 straight hours of talking football with you folks. So I'm going to open up the phone lines to our first caller. Hello, sir. Would you like to talk about football? Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, I've been a coal miner for 30 years now, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 12 for 3 for the season. And you know, I'm a coal miner, like I said, and I'm pretty tough. Yeah, I'm a tough guy. And, you know, football players, they gotta be pretty tough. They gotta be pretty tough guys to be, like I said. And, did I mention I think the Steelers are going to go 12 for 3 this season? Yeah, well, I tell you, they got the good defense and they got the solid offense. And here's another thing that I want to mention, though. You know, I don't give a rat's ass about baseball. All them fruitcakes twitching around with their little bums palpitating out in the outfield, just like a bear shit in a peach pit. But you know, I think that they ought to make football a little tougher. You know, like. Oh, and how would you go about doing that, sir? Well, I think the way I see it, fuck breaking their backs with a sissy tackle. Ram a hand grenade down their fucking throats, just like in Guadalcanal. Well, thank you very much for your input, sir. We have a commercial coming up, and then we're going to be right back. Be sure to tune in to Football Talk again tomorrow night. Now you got all these oldies stations, and you know, I was driving in a car last night, and you turn on the oldies station. What should you hear? Chubby Checker. It's the one thing in the great American heartland, the one thing that you can depend on, whether you're in Petaluma or Tunica, Mississippi, or Lake Providence, Louisiana, or Perth Amboy, New Jersey, or Jacksonville, Florida, or Belfast, Maine, or well, you get the idea, right? Or Charleston, West Virginia, or Wilmerding, Pennsylvania, or that gigantic incinerator in Ohio. You can be there. You're always going to hear Chubby Checker, you know. Oh, come on, baby. He sounds like a dog trying to get into your bedroom door because he has to take a piss. Oh, come on, baby. You know, it's cool about twist. You know how Chubby Checker got his name? I'll tell you. He was on the Cameo Parkway label out of Philadelphia, and the guy who owned it, his wife said, "What should we call our new singing star?" Well, there's that cute little Fats Domino. We'll call him Chubby Checker. But you know, what if she had thought for a few more minutes? He might have ended up being, instead of Chubby Checker, they might have called him something like, I don't know, Obese Chest. Or Arteriosclerotic Backgammon. Or Oleaginous Bingo. And now this is Casey Kasem with our #1 hit by Oleaginous Bingo. You know, it's like, come on, everybody, clap your hands. I'm looking good. I'm going to sing my song. It won't take long. We're going to do this fast. And they should do it as a punk song. We're going to do the Tristan. It goes like this. You know, God, you would have worn a hole in the floor trying to dance to that. That's why they got mosh pits, you know. Nobody in their right mind would actually dance to thrash music. So, yeah, well, while we're in our musical moment, I'd like to talk about the Star-Spangled Banner. You know, Francis Scott Key was a one-hit wonder. What else has he ever written? Just one thing, the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, what if the British had had the atom bomb during the War of 1812? I think the song might have gone something like, oh, say, can you... But fortunately for us, atom technology wasn't invented until around 1936. Enrico Fermi. Enrico Fermi. Sounds like a type of pasta, no? Oh, Sabio. Put that Enrico Fermi on the boil. Anyway, I'm thinking now, you know, the Star-Spangled Banner was obviously written by somebody with a classical education, somebody who read Samuel Johnson, somebody who knew German and Latin and Greek and therefore wrote in this incredibly boring style for 20th century Americans in which a clause begins and the verb doesn't come until the very, 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 very end. You know, like if you were being measured for a suit, the clause would begin somewhere around your breastbone and it would end on the sleeve of a size 44 gorilla. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed? But it doesn't stop there. At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, what so proudly we hail. When does this goddamn sentence end? Who's this, William Faulkner or what? I don't know. What's going on here? I can't take it anymore. So I'm thinking maybe we should jazz it up a little bit for the 20th century. Like rewrite it in a different musical genre. You know, not this sort of pseudo-operatic Songgesprache. Oh, say. You know, you can make it a show tune. You know, it would be something like, hey, it sure is bright out. Gosh, that flag is grand. Glad it's not still night out. Let's strike up the band. You know. or maybe, I don't know, country and western. I'm drunk, I'm fired, I'm broke. The air is full of cannon smoke. My neck is red, my skin is white. And I've been blue all night. Red and white and blue. Just like a flag. It'd be really cool. Or maybe it could be thrash, you know, heavy metal. Look at that rag! I hate the brag! That used to be our flag! Hey! Or, you know, I need a number of things. Any suggestions? I'll make up a musical genre right on the spot. Not that I don't already have like 15 of them memorized. So it's time to play Stump the Wrong Hero. You know, no hand grenades, please. What?
Bebop.
Bebop. The Star-Spangled Banner. Well, it was going to town, the nasty old British were trying to shoot it down, shoot it down. They shot away, hey, all day, all night, all day. What do you know? The flag was still there. Da 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 da. Or
Easy listening.
what? Easy listening?
For the elevator.
Oh, okay. Shoot the flag. Shoot the flag. Shoot the flag. Shoot the flag. That's the best I can do on such short notice there. Or Kurt Cobain, you know. Spangled banner, made of cheesecloth, on the flagpole, gets my rocks off. You know, I hate to say this, but I've completely lost my faith in science. I used to have a subscription to Scientific American. Now, I subscribe to Superstitious Caveman. And on the front cover they have fire, bad, all sorts of interesting articles. Are dinosaurs kosher? And sacrificing your firstborn to the angry sun god. Some do's and don'ts. You know, so it's cool. I'd like you to know that I have very strong opinions. For example, politics is sports for people who are too fat to run. Masturbation is the poor man's Nintendo. The moon is a giant ovary, and that's why we shoot rockets at it. I'm the wrong hero. I am not a shill selling snake oil to credulous rubes and slack-jawed bohunks, but I do look forward to the day when I can go on tour and play in towns with dirt sidewalks. Now, like I said, I'm the wrong hero, and if my mouth is gaping open, it is because I am an eager hog longing to lick the crumbs of laughter from your fat table. For with my jolly sense of humor and your laughing skills, we can rock this crummy joint clean down to its foundation. No? Well, let me tell you this then. Every sound that percolates from your diseased and rotting, toothless skulls, I despise. No, just kidding. Do not adjust the focus. I am very nervous. You know, we could solve all of our problems in this great country if only everybody would show just a little common, basic, decent courtesy. But until that day finally arrives, I am the wrong hero. Now, I don't subscribe to your conventional magazines, la-di-da. I don't get Business Week, I get Slacker's Day. I don't get the Reader's Digest, I get the Illiterate's Bible. I don't get American Demographics, I get Communist Ignorance. I don't get Rolling Stone, I get Cool Muzak. And I don't read Fortune, I read Bankruptcy. Mother Jones, I read Father Smith. 15 recipes for spotted owl, page 666. I don't read The Nation, I read Feudal City-State. You know, are donkeys responsible for their crimes? Page 3. I don't read Reason, I read Madness, especially the article called Marshmallow! I got a head the size of Oklahoma, page 15, Skilly Up Team 3. And I don't read the Partisan Review, I read Suggestible Hermit. And of course I don't subscribe to New Republic. I read a little journal called No Republic. I'm the wrong hero, and my act is like poverty in motion. Some have said that I have cirrhosis of the intellect. I heard a charming little story, part of the sort of whimsical storytelling type of humor that I am so well loved by millions for. It seems as though a cat in the Brockton Public Library has been issued a library card because he likes to sleep there in the foyer and greet visitors by rubbing his fur up against them. Well, I figured this cat hung out at a hospital, maybe he could get a CAT scan. Oh, that's a groaner. All right. I'm the wrong hero. My act is where quality is job one. And making up slogans about quality without doing anything about it is job two, I guess. People say my act is different. Different. How'd you like my act? Well, it's different. What they're really saying is, I lack the critical vocabulary to evaluate this phenomenon. So, just keep that in mind. Now, what gets me about like backwoods hicks is they complain about how there's nothing to do out there in the country, but anytime some innovative act comes along and try to entertain them, they just totally shut them out. And so where's the incentive for some innovative act to go out there and brighten up their squalid, drab little lives? There is no incentive. So they're stuck being hicks, and being bored.
Hey Francis, what page you on in them 21 up there?
Well, let's see. Of 21 pages, I have gotten approximately 3/4 of the way through my presentation. If you would only be patient, perhaps I would be able to bring this to its well-deserved climactic.
You mean you're on page 11?
Something like that. But it's going to go really fast from here on in because, this is all bam, bam, bam stuff, okay? Oh, I'd say another 5 minutes or so. All right? Okay, all right. You know what gets me? Writers groups. People get together and talk about writing. Writing is a solitary activity. You need peace and quiet and intense concentration. You need to live in a world of your own in order to create a world. And so, why do you have to get together in a writer's group? You know how to write. You know what you're going to say, and so why should you have to clear it through a committee of hand-wringing loafers who go to a writer's group as an excuse not to do any fucking writing? I've been waiting to get that off my chest for about 20 years, as you can well imagine. Yeah, I learned a lot in college. I learned how to drink vodka with lukewarm cappuccino without puking. I learned how to eat powdered iced tea straight out of the foil packet. I learned how to eat those crispy Lipton noodles also straight out of the box. And let's see, I learned how to say in 500 words what was never worth saying to begin with. And I learned how to lose my virginity and start prostituting myself virtually simultaneously. I learned how to say, I know exactly what you mean instead of, I have no idea what you're fucking talking about. 20K a year, 80,000 smackaroos to learn that shit. Hell, I'll tell you that too in 5 minutes. Give me the $80,000. You ever read Improper Bostonian? It's given out for free, and at that, it's no bargain. It is a giant ad masquerading as a humor magazine. But since you haven't seen it, it's pointless to go on about it, so I won't. I went to a job interview, and they said to me, what is your biggest flaw? It's like asking Richard Wright, do you steal, boy? It's like, sure I steal. Yep, sir, I steal all the time. I steal milk, I steal eggs, I steal bread, I steal the ticket taker's money at the movie theater. Yeah, I steal, I'm a stealer. And what is your biggest flaw? And I said, well, I tend to be lazy.
The emir of England.
And they said, well, at least you're honest about it. And I said, no, I lied about that, too. I have trouble getting job interviews. Maybe it's the cover letter. Dear sir, suck my drug-laced nipples, Earthfelt! With socialist greetings, sincerely, the wrong hero. The place I work at involves dealing with the public a lot, maybe 180 people a day. And I come up with an all-purpose phrase for any contingency. It's, what part of no don't you understand? The N or the O? Or maybe it's the little period under the exclamation mark that you cannot comprehend. You stupid!
lazy, slack-jawed, incomplete.
Ah, yes. This is real therapy, yes. I'm doing a rewrite of A Streetcar Named Desire. I'm going to update it for the 90s and call it Fucking Trolley Slut. You know, I think it would go really big. Hey, you know something? If Elvis Presley were alive today and he were on the sun, he'd weigh 47 tons. That's what I call a real hunka burning love. How's about you? You know, I think that the popular...
Francis, you're only on page 7 of 29.
Yeah, but I did the last 7 pages first. So, add it up. Now, really, we're getting to the bam, bam, bam part, I'm telling you. You know, I think that the popular singer Little Richard might have been even more successful if he had called himself a more dignified name. Something like, instead of Little Richard, maybe he'd call himself Big Dick. What do you think? You know what the problem with the United States is? We don't have leaders. We have hypnotists. My name is Bob Dole. I would rather be far right than president. I am your president. I am too weird to take a vacation. If I must take a vacation, I will do it in a place where everybody can reach me and hector me 24 hours a day with stuff like Northern Ireland that I can give 2 hoots in hell about. I just want to play my golf game. Ah, yeah, so, anyway. Hey, you know Pinochet, the former dictator of Chile? Now that he's retired, I'm wondering, does he play Pinochle? He could have his own cable access show. Pinochle with Pinochet. You know, they'd save on the letters on the marquee. You could use the same one. You know, Pinochle, take down 2 letters. Pinochet, yeah. All right. So, you know, Gorbachev is starting up a new democratic opposition group in the Soviet Union. And you know what Yeltsin's response is? I'm going to wipe that stain right off your head. I'm going to wipe that stain right off your head. I'm the wrong hero, and I say, if the shoe fits, it probably has no soul. Here we go, the grand climax. 17 jokes in 17 seconds. Here goes. All right, come on in, sit down. We're running a little late, but that's all right. It's really only 5 minutes to 3. My credit's good, but my money is better. You know, driving to the show, I got to thinking, everything is coming my way. That's because I was on the wrong side of the highway. You know, thank you. Well, I sprayed a little perfumey water under my arms. Just for you. Just for you. That's a very nice outfit you're wearing. It's beautiful. You have incredibly good taste in clothing. I'm talking to you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. You, over there. You with the beard. Here's $100. Go out and buy yourself some nice clothes. I like to see my boys looking sharp, see? Yeah. To err is human. To forgive is not on my agenda at the present time. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm having a good time doing it. Actually, I do know where I'm going. I'm going nowhere fast. And here's the thing. If you're going nowhere, then what does it matter how fast you're going? You're like, what is this? All aboard, Nowhere Express. All aboard for nowhere. Woo, woo. You know, so that's just the way I feel sometimes. And another thing I think is, he who laughs last is standing there laughing like an idiot when there's important work to be done. So, I don't know about that. You know, I won't give you a helping hand, but I might be encouraged to show you an encouraging fist, maybe. I don't know. My motto is, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to eat plankton, and then sit back and watch the fireworks begin as grumpy Mr. Whale starts getting an enormous empty belly. 2 can live as cheaply as 1, and I'd be happy to eat the leftovers if there are any. My motto is, when all else fails, blame me. And I also believe that the first place to look for something that you've lost is in a storage locker down at the bus terminal, which I just rented about 5 minutes after you lost it. I believe that the root of money is the love of evil. I got that off of a Salada tea bag, my one non-original joke. With my successful rate of failure, how else could I fail to succeed? If you can't stand the heat, dry up. I had to reassess my every basic assumption the day I saw Batman cry. Did you see that one? This mailman dies, and at the end of the story, Batman goes, his name was Joe Little. But he wasn't little! He was big! You know, it's like really great, you know. Ironic, his name was Joe Little, but he was big. Perpetual innovation, such as I am demonstrating at this very moment, can grow every bit as tedious as perpetual boredom. So I will go soon. How little is not enough? Less than everything. This country is going straight to heaven in an 18-wheeler. This I believe. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, but if it wakes me up one more time, I'm going to call the police! I'm working on various money-making schemes, like a line of bumper stickers. I break for the Whiskey Rebellion. David Koresh is my co-pilot. I knew that would get you, Mark. Have you rinsed your tofu today? And the classic, let me be your toilet paper. Isn't that cool? And I got a Braille bumper sticker. It's like, it's a Braille bumper sticker. It says, if you can read this, you must be blind! You know, America's turning into a nation of crybabies, and I got some condolence cards for those little minor catastrophes that happen every day. Like, so sorry your microwave is on the blink. So your baby has a rash. And condolences on your flat tire. That's my favorite. And I got some pickup lines too to end the show. Some of you might be able to use some of these somewhere, I don't know. Can you help me find my digitalis? Doctor says if I have one more drink, I'm gonna kill myself. Well, maybe it'll be the one after that one. Or in Italian bars, here's a good pickup line. Hey, baby, what's your fucking sign? Ah! Hey, I think you and me was together in a past life. And you owed me money. Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I sense that at this time you have no more time for stupid stories that dare you to dream. And so, I must say this. You must be sick men with no time to be busy. So, I will simply mention that for my part, you are beginning to annoy me. Because you make me nervous. Nervous. Because you're evil. 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 I'm the wrong hero. And this is Havoc. And my opening salvo will be the suggestion.
Gentlemen, start your enigmas!
Enough innovation. Time to return to the tripe and true, where puns are confused with poetry and sarcasm is mistaken for wisdom. Remember, only one little letter separates performer from reformer. My brilliance costs me friends, and my stupidity costs me money. So you just can't win. Now, if I switched it around and acted stupid around my friends and brilliant when it came to money, hey, I'd be on top. But no, that would be too easy. My father says, you really like to do things the hard way, don't you, kid? My girlfriend says, why must you do everything the hard way? I say, hero, why do you have to make things hard on yourself? And then I answer myself, I say, because of my own worst enemy, that's why. I walk down the street throwing propaganda leaflets on my own head, urging me to surrender. And they say, wanted, the wrong hero. When I go to work, I say to my fellow employees, I'm the one who's been stealing the milk from the coffee supply, making endless Xerox copies, camping out in the bathroom for 20 minutes, and leaving half an hour early, even though I've arrived 15 minutes late. So that's why I am in such a fine position at my job. More about which later. You know, it's nice to know who your friends are, but it's even more valuable to know that I'm not one of them, because I am the wrong hero. I'm not user-friendly like Apple computers. I'm user-hostile. I'm not pocketable like Sony. I'm a burden on society, and I'll tell the world. I'm not a factory-managed individual like the cars manufactured by Toyota. No, I'm individualistically bumbling. Instead of the on-time delivery of Federal Express, I pride myself in always being at the wrong place, at the wrong time, and late to boot. I have a new revised Miranda warning, and it goes something like, you have the right to speak. What you fail to say will be used against you in the kangaroo court of the wrong hero, where only the innocent must suffer. Perhaps one day I will be assassinated. If you're a bum, you're murdered. If you're a great leader or a pop star, you're assassinated. Perhaps one day I will be assassinated. Well, if that day comes, I hope at the very least it's with an American gun. I didn't dodge the draft in Vietnam to be cut down by an AK-47 in the prime of my doddering middle age. I hope you're having fun, but I want you to remember that fun is no laughing matter. Because, as William Blake said, too much fun is of all things the most loathsome. As the wrong hero says, too much William Blake of all things, including fun, is even more loathsome. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. They always teach you that, but they don't tell you the corresponding one. Little lamb, who made thee? Little lamb, who made thee? They don't want to give kids the wrong idea. Tiger, man, cool, you know, burning bright. Hey, I got an idea. Let's set the cat on fire. If you're like most people, and who isn't, then you're probably just like everybody else. But I'm different. I'm the wrong hero. And men call me Rebel Without Applause. Which will be the title of my next feature-length film. When I answer the phone, I don't say, hello. I say, explain yourself! Especially when I'm at my telemarketing job. I say to other comedians, is this supposed to be funny? Don't make me laugh! Now there's an insidious rumor going around that fascists have tiny weenies. When I find out who's been spreading these filthy lies, I will crush them! I invented a car. I'm famous, you know. Some of you might recognize me. I invented a car that runs on blood sugar. Of course, you might not recognize me. I lost 300 pounds on the drive from Albany. It's a good thing I picked up that hitchhiker. Or I'd be singing Karen Carpenter songs at the Oldies convention. It's yesterday once more. Now there's an idea. Oh, somebody's already thought of it. Punk rock Carpenter songs. I'm always just a minute too late. How's about Beach Boys songs sung as the actual blues songs they once were before they were ripped off and turned into anthems to summer fun? Oh, darling, darling, you look so fine. Whoa, I was living like half a man. Then I couldn't love, but now I can. Hey, how you doing? It's about time we got some differentiation in this audience. As you can see, it is an all-male audience. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, somehow the stage looks different when there's nobody in the audience except 3 people. Yeah, hey, it's cool. Well, come on in. Come on in. I'll make you laugh, or at least I won't give you the worst of my diseases. I don't want CD-ROMs. I want respectable ROMs. And I don't want floppy disks. I want successful disks. This, you gotta play to the whole audience. You know, MIT's right down the street. If I scream loud enough, some of them might come streaming in. What's this? CD-ROMs! Floppy disks! Oh, nerd humor! Oh, that's for me. Remember, all you MIT people, masturbation is the poor man's Nintendo. So when you run out of Nintendo games, keep that in mind. Yeah, I told some guy from MIT that Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, had died, and he said, oh no, now I'm going to have to start having sex. Klingon style. So, yeah, I got some MIT bumper stickers. I break for unicellular life. And caution, nuclear reactor on board. Yes. Ask me about my recombinant DNA experiment. And the like. Some people take their friends where they find them. In other words, they form trench buddies, you know, like, I went to boarding school with this guy, I was in the army with this guy, I worked at McDonald's with this son of a bitch. But, as for me, I make enemies wherever I go. That son of a bitch owes me $20. You know, he put $120 on my phone, saying he was calling one of his friends, and instead, he called the Dominican Republic. You know, it's like, okay, so, some folks use negativism as a refuge from unpleasant truths. I invent negative situations where none exist just for fun, because I am the wrong hero. And now you are privileged to hear situationist nursery rhymes. As you may or may not know, the situationist movement arose in the turmoil following the massive strikes which took place in France, particularly Paris, in May of 1968. Along with the situationists and the enragés and the radical syndicalists and all of the other obscure fringe political groups, there arose, Bakuninists and every single radical anarchist, communist, socialist, they all came crawling out of the woodwork and put their graffiti up everywhere. And so in that spirit, situationist nursery rhymes. This little piggy went to market in spite of the massive dislocations caused by the breakdown of the spectacular commodity economy. This little piggy stayed home, thus demonstrating by his refusal to work the vigor of his struggle for autonomy. This little piggy had roast beef and in the process depriving members of the third world of the essential grain products which keep them from starving. And this little piggy had none, finally breaking the chain of karmic retribution by refusing to commit an injustice against a fellow quadruped. And this little piggy cried, "Wee, wee, wee," all the way home, demonstrating in the process an admirable spirit of communal solidarity by refusing to be passionate about his own alienation. Tom, Tom, the piper's son, stole a pig and away he run. But, of course, in any rational court of law, he could not be tried because, as Bakunin observed, all property is theft. And, as that great situationist Johnny Rotten once stated, there is only one criterion. Does it threaten the status quo? Old King Cole was ruthless in his oblivious exploitation of his objectified and thoroughly pacified salaried robots, who brought him his pipe, bowl, and Fiddler's 3, stupefying palliatives which made the boredom of his hegemonic regime palatable. Well, if I can just get about 25 more of those, I'll have my situationist nursery rhymes. Who's gonna buy it, It's like, my baby, I used marks for a teething ring, but those are a little bit too hairy for my kid. I don't know. I want the kid to, do the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or something. Yes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, demonstrating the interchangeability of humanity and individuals within a stratified, ossified societal structure. It's like, that Doublemint gum? Double your pleasure, double your fun. All women are alike. That is the hidden subtextual message of Doublemint gum. One is as good as another, and if you got two, so much the better. Double your fun. They call Elvis the king, but I think that's inappropriate in a democratic society. I think they should call him the president. Elvis met with Nixon. There's a famous photograph in which a bleary-eyed Elvis is shaking hands with old jowl face. Nixon actually suggested that Elvis become involved in politics. In fact, once Nixon observed that if he hadn't gotten into politics, he would have been a rap star. He actually did. And, what if Elvis had been president, It's like, I want Air Force One to fly into the sun. Why is that, Elvis? Because I want to be a hunk of burning love. So I can just see that. Wow, he must be rolling over in his grave now, huh? Well, Elvis, of course, he got his whole shtick from that fine, intrinsically American musical genre known as the blues. Everything about the blues is freighted with grief. No matter what you sing in a blues genre, it is always going to sound depressing. You can sing nursery rhymes like, "Little boy blue, come blow your horn, the sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Little boy blue, baby, please come blow your horn." You can sing the Star-Spangled Banner in the blues genre. It sound depressing, it'd be like, "Woke up this morning, Rooster crowed at the break of dawn. Yeah. I looked up at the sky, flag tatted and torn. Lord, how I hate to hear that rooster crow. Anything. But, you know, the blues have a lot of powerful lessons to teach us. When I sing to my girlfriend, I sing nothing but blues songs, but somehow they don't do the trick in regards to wooing her. You know, it's like, instead of singing her feelings, I sing Mississippi Bow Weevil Blues. You know, so I go, well, you sell your cotton, you won't get out of saying loaded. It just doesn't do it. It doesn't put her in that romantic mood somehow. But, you know, the blues have a lot of lessons for today. You know, it's like, the bees made honey in the lion's head. Good go! Yeah, I'm walking down Central Square. I see this every day. A goddamn lion's head with bees coming out of it, you know? Cool, man. So, like, and I ain't lying. And of course, you know, these relevant lessons that the blues teach you. I got a yellow gal I can't keep. Lead belly, I hear you. You know, I have that problem every day of the year. So, well, you know, blues clubs. What are blues clubs anyway? I was formulating a thought concerning what the blues clubs are sort of like the modern equivalent of the tuberculosis ward. If you know where I'm coming from, unfortunately, tuberculosis is staging a big comeback, so this is a little more relevant. Yeah, all right, I got TB. It's killing me. But it won't be long before we get, you know, cholera and songs about diseases. You know, cholera, why have you left me this way? You know, and gee, I don't know. Pretty soon they won't have white collar workers. They'll have white collar workers there. Yes, sir. It's a pity about the blues. You know, sure. I'm 23 years old, terminally depressed, an alcoholic. I smoke 3 packs of Luckies a day. Where better to hang out than a blues place, you know? They're like, you know, where I can pretend to be a 68-year-old Negro man who drinks a pint of whiskey a day, smokes 3 packs of Luckies, and is terminally depressed, you know? It's like, it's a cycle, it's a franchise. I'm gonna teach you everything I know about the blues. Well, that's a pretty good lesson, Pops, you know? Well, what do you do for an encore? I knew a harmonica player who had a PhD in the harmonica. He played in the key of E equals MC squared. I'll tell you, man, that guy was in the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. Yeah, I guess the blues will be around for the next 2,000 years, but it'll be something like, that lousy robot, that cyborg done me wrong. You know that the Beatles, they go, they stole that from Robert Johnson. They did. Out and out blatant theft. So next time you listen to next time you listen to early Beatles, Paul McCartney going, Robert Johnson, I'm telling you. Well, the thing is, most nowadays you can't really tell people about mythology without jazzing it up a little bit. So I decided to combine Hanna-Barbera and Sophocles in a masterpiece I call the Yogi Cycle. Yogi Rex, Boo Boo at Colonus, and Scooby-Doo meets Electra. I'm going to kill my father. And you know, for that matter, we're talking about mythology. You gotta jazz up Christianity a little bit. Like, say pagans, tired of worshiping oak trees and painting your bodies blue? Why not try Christianity? Christianity gives you three gods in one. Are you bored with the same fat pontiffs men worship? Step on up to Pope Light. You got your own Pope now, baby. Or, Jesus Christ, soup. Are you tired of the same old boring chicken noodle, chicken gumbo? Well, try Jesus Christ, soup. Makes mealtime into communion time. Unlike most boring alphabet soups, Jesus Christ soup has its letters in Hebrew. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Unless they buy lots and lots of Jesus Christ soup. So, I don't know. I'm wrong, you know, and I have 3 rules. Only 3. Be neat and filthy. Be polite and angry. And be kind to animals. And then eat them. It makes their flesh so nice and tender when you give them a little pat on the head first, before you cut their throats from ear to ear. Really, and this polite but angry routine, it can be very effective. It's like, I would like to do this, but I know you're not going to let me. That's right, I'm not going to let you. Well, could you let me anyway? Please? What part of no do you fail to understand? The N? The O? Or the little dot underneath the exclamation point? I went to my high school reunion to see where I had carved my initials years and years ago. But the gym coach was wearing a toupee. So that did not work out. And now this word for anti-ivory soap. It's black. It stinks like shit. It sinks to the bottom of the fucking tub. But it's really, really good for your skin. Anti-ivory soap. And now, an impression. Mom's Mabley singing Abraham, Martin, and John. Has anybody here seen my old friend Martin? And now this word for the Saturn car. Who thought of this? Let's call the car Saturn. Why? Well, we would call it Mars, but that's too warlike and the Cold War's over. We would call it Venus, but they already have the Volvo, you know? That would be kind of redundant. So let's call it Saturn. Devours his own children. Great name for a car! Here, son, here's the keys to your very first car. Oh, boy, thanks a lot, Dad. Look out for that cliff. Saturn, because you don't want your kids to render you obsolescent. You know, I've been thinking lately about people on drugs. You have to watch out for people on drugs because if there's one thing I've learned, it's people on drugs notice everything. Nice wart. It glitters. Yeah, I'll tell you, the people on drugs, they're full of insights like that. And people on drugs, their humor, hi. Marshmallow! I tell you, man, I bust a gut. And most of all, their observational abilities, their visual acuity. It's like, nice hat. I got a hat like that. And it's the size of Oklahoma! So, that's just something that you've got to watch out for. People on drugs. One time I was on drugs and I walked into Toscanini's down the street. Of course, when I looked at the sign, it actually read arteriosclerosis in a drum. But I walked in there. One eye was the size of a pinprick. The other was the size of a dinner plate. I walked up to the counter and said, "Give me a triple-decker ice cream cone. I want 1 scoop kiwi fruit sorbet, 1 scoop ginger snap molasses, and 1 scoop Mexico City car exhaust fume, paint thinner red, spotted owl, dolphin, mastodon, koala bear, eucalyptus leaf, crunch! Then don't give it to me in a cone, give it to me in a monkey's paw! And the woman behind the counter said, for here or to go? So I knew I was wasted. One time I farted in a bank. Kind of redundant when you think about how Freud equates shit with money, but I farted in the bank and I said to the fart, get back in there, little brother. You're with the big boys now. Okay? Yeah, I'll tell you, I worked as a cashier. I used to really empathize with the coins. You know, when you're in a bank, people don't ask for pennies. So there's those pennies sitting in there. Oh, come on now, Abe. Don't worry. Someday your prince will come. Some Pakistani store owner was going to need like $15 worth of pennies, and I'll put you all in a nice little bundle. Oh, Thomas Jefferson. Nobody likes your nickels. I'll do that. That's okay. Just sit right there. Frankie Delano Roosevelt. I guess there's no New Deal for you. You're just going to sit right there in that little coin thing there until you rot. Well, it's okay, Frankie. Someday someone's going to come in wanting to make a long-distance phone call to Kuala Lumpur, and you'll get your day in the sun. George, my man. Them porters, yeah, people like you. Someone comes in here every day wanting to do their laundry, so don't worry. You're going to be moving out of here real quick now. Oh, Thomas Jefferson on the $2 bill. You know, if you hadn't have fucked your slaves and sold your illegitimate sons down the river to southern plantation owners, maybe the $2 bill would be a little more popular. You know, it's like, Benjamin, my man, Benjamin, hey, Benji, hey, Mr. B, yeah, hey, all right, yeah. I'm going to put a couple of you in my pocket there just to insulate it, you know. I'll put it back in the cash drawer. I'm done now. Don't you worry. I ain't going nowhere. Huh? Hey, I got about 15 of you in there now. I'm going to go to fucking Mexico and live like a king. Yeah. So you got to be careful who you employ when you run a bank, because some people just take their job, or they get into their jobs just a little too seriously. Like when I'm shelving books at the library, we use the Library of Congress system. So it's like, hey, all right, JK1, looking good. HB 172, well, there's 5 copies of you there, and there's 10 of you. Well, I'm going to pull you right off the shelf now, see, because students are coming back. They're going to need you, Mr. Microeconomics. Yeah, okay. Like, we had a guy come in there. I want this magazine article. Well, that's at the depository, and it costs us $45 to ask them for something. You could go over to the other library down the street. But I'm here, right now! I want it now! Well, are you a student here? No. Well, I'm sorry that we can't help you. Fucking dick. You know, it's like, I don't care. I don't care how much it costs you. I don't care if you're just a stupid librarian. People think librarians are stupid. It's one of those things. Well, you know, my cousin sells crack in front of housing projects and makes more money in 1 hour than you make in a year, sucker! You know, it's like, yeah, tell me about it when he gets buggered in the penitentiary. That won't happen in a library anytime soon. The worst thing you get in a library is people who read out loud from the dictionary and giggle, you know, or the occasional flasher. But that's about the worst that you can expect. Hey, it's Jeffrey Wine, and it's John Hanson. Johnny Hanson. Half steak and half guacamole.
Italian steak.
It's Italian steak. Ordinary steak, you know. Hi, how are you? Italian steak. Hey, so good to see you today. How you doing? Hey, you my brother. Come over here. You sit down. You cocksuck. You owe me money. You owe me money. So I don't know. That's the thing about Italians. They're sort of like the vector between black people and white people. You notice this? You know, black people, they like to go to pizza places and shit. It's because, you know, the food is like white, but it's not that white. And it's cool. I kind of like it, you know. I'm Italian myself, and I dig on it, you know. Like, I used to live in the projects, and the black dudes would say, "Hey, you ain't that white. Okay, leave them alone, boys." You know, it's like that. Like my girlfriend, she's Irish. She walks down in front of the projects. You know what people say? "That there is the whitest white girl I've ever seen." Literally, someone said this to her in South Providence. It's just amazing. Irish and Italian. You know, I feel like we're a goddamn checkerboard or something. It's binary, you know? Our kids are going to be computers. What? I don't know. Hey, so, I'm just babbling. So what? Don't embarrass me. Stop embarrassing me. You are embarrassing me. You are embarrassing me. But you're all right. Hey, come to my neighborhood. Hey, I love Archie Bell and the Drells because, you know, they can teach you everything there is to know about life. You think you're pretty good? You haven't been to my neighborhood. You know, dun, dun, hey, hey, gonna be a showdown. Hey, hey, gonna be a showdown. There's this thing with black cowboys, you know. Cowboys to girls. We used to play shoot 'em up, bang, bang, baby. You know, the most choreographed Western you've ever heard. Cowboys to girls. You know, it's just so great. I love this country. I do. Because where else can you get, like, I don't know, some guy fresh off the boat from Cambodia and some fucking fifth-generation aristocrat who's like, you know, he talks like William F. Buckley or something, and they're both riding the subway together. It's wonderful. It's fucking decent. We're down to the last page and a half in case you're interested. Now here's something. Prometheus stole fire from the heavens and was punished. Wouldn't it have made a little more sense to have stolen fire from hell? You know, I mean, there's plenty of it to go around. Nobody's gonna miss it. Prometheus. Hello? Steal fire from hell next time, okay? From hell. Got that? It's H-E-L-L. H-E-L-L-O. Hello! So, yes. You know what I'd like to see one time? Just one time on Wheel of Fortune, when the guy goes, you know, they're spinning the wheel, and the guy goes, "Big money, big money!" I want Vanna White to roll out a giant stone coin from the island of Yak. Just once. And then I could die happy, you know? It's like, a lot of writers are working on the great American novel. Well, I'm sort of going downscale. I'm working on the lousy American novel. It's like, because, you know, hey, why buck a losing trend? And I can just see the reviews, like New York Times. "Never in my entire life have I been assaulted by such a cavalcade of triviality, a veritable cornucopia of triteness." You know, or the Washington Post. "Over 15 miles of virgin forest has been denuded in order to create the paper to put out this massive waste of time and energy." Or the Boston Herald. "I don't know, I kind of liked it." Because, you know, it's the lousy American novel. Yeah, well, I gotta get a job, you know. I really do. Because, if I don't, I'll be broke. Not that I'm not already. But, the hard thing is, though, you go on these job interviews, and they throw the softball question. "What is your name?" "Raspberry." But then they throw the hardballs at you, like, "Well, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" That is a very good question. I'll tell you where I see myself in 5 years. I see me in a stretch limo with a foxy whore on either arm, drinking from a bottle of Courvoisier, my fists dripping with "fuck you" money. And I see you standing on a street corner, drinking Miller High Life from a paper bag, your coat covered with snot and vomit, and choking in my exhaust as I leave you in a cloud of dust. And they say, "Well, we were considering you for an entry-level job, but we think you have what it takes to be middle management. You're hired." Yeah. Well, I had a job writing children's books, but I got fired for using the word poop. I'm sorry. I won't let it happen again. Oh, and they turned down my masterpiece, Winnie the Shit. Well, you know, I think shit is an ugly word, actually. I don't use it if I can avoid it. I prefer to call it something nice, like brown monuments to a healthy appetite. That's my name for it. You ever notice how when people call you sir, if you're past a certain age, what they're really calling you is fatso? It's like, fatso, yes, fatso! Or too fatso with love. You know, so, yes, fatso, no, fatso. Where do I go, fatso? What do I do, fatso? What do I say? How do I behave? Well, so that's why I don't like to be called sir. I like to be called Mr. Sir. See? You know, we have a big problem with juvenile delinquency, but I'm sure back in colonial days they had the same problem. Yes, they had colonial juvenile delinquents. Hey, nice ox cart, nice ox cart. Hey, look, the yoke. Let's go! Look out for that Indian! This is Cart Mather. Don't help a good indentured servant go bad. Lock your ox. Take the yoke. Whew. You know, people say, wrong hero? I don't like your attitude. You know what bothers me about you? It's your smart aleck attitude. And I say to them, oh, what part of my attitude don't you like? What attitude would you prefer? Supine? Preferably kissing your sweaty fat ass, Mr. God! I will change my attitude for you because I am infinitely malleable. And they say, that's better. And I'm feeling better. I like to do my impression of Van Morrison. No, I'm sorry, Jim Morrison. You know, I make that mistake all the time. Van Morrison. Jim Morrison. Father, I'm going to kill you! You know, they're like, they're like peas in a pod, those two. You know, Van Morrison, it's like you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out, then you're high. Jim Morrison, like, the day just buys a night, night just buys a day. Try to run, try to hunt! You know, it's like, they're like peas in a pod, I'm telling you. Well, what if Jim Morrison had actually been a real Irishman? He'd probably still be alive today. He'd be alive when he was 97 years old. If he were a real Irishman, Jim Morrison would be like, oh, the time to hesitate is through, no time to wallow in the mire. And if you are not careful, I will light your head on fire. Oh, it's over the hill to the poorhouse, over the hill and far away. And if you are not careful, I will light your head ablaze. Oh, 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 oh. Well, I don't know. I'm the wrong hero, and my motto is caveat emptor, which means one of two things, actually. It means your head is a giant sucker, and you have the IQ of a ceiling fan. That is what caveat emptor means, in case you're interested. Take a gander, a little stinky. Oh boy, I'll tell you. What a car. It broke down on the Mass Pike, 2 miles from the exit, onto Alston, Cambridge. I had to park it in a space the size of a coffin, which it very nearly ended up becoming for me. You ever try breaking down the Mass Pike? It's fun. Don't take the kids to Disneyland, that's boring. Hey, I know, let's not put any oil in the car and break down the Mass Pike. That's much worse barrels allows. Yeah, I ain't paying my taxes this year. No siree. Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I am not, I am not like other comedians. I am not a shaman of class animus. I am not an avatar of the moron zeitgeist, because I am the wrong hero. People say, have you ever been arrested? And I say, yes, by my great talent. I'm on job interviews and they say, do you have any experience? And I say, yes, Jimi Hendrix experience. And they say, what are your hobbies? And I say, being interrogated by total strangers so I can get a lousy job for $5.25 a day. I'm the wrong hero. This has been Havoc. Hero, 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 hero.